I've tried filming my bike rides in every way possible. Chest mounts, handlebar clamps, cinema camera on the back strapped, all of them. But getting good looking, usable footage without a big hassle, that's always been the issue.
When they see me, wait, cause the motion, 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 motion. Yeah, used to be down real bad, used not count no cash.
I bought the Insta360 X5 right after these clips floated all over social media. It looked great on a tiny smartphone, and the idea of a 360 camera for bike footage is actually great. Throw it on and don't worry, you do the framing at home, lazy on the couch. But to my eyes, the footage felt too digital, too sharpened, over-processed, and it didn't match the tone of how I want to do my videos, especially for YouTube. It just didn't integrate in my other color grades. So I never used it. Literally never. When DJI sent me their new Osmo 360, I didn't expect much. But then one feature actually caught my eye. LOG mode, log mode. To those who don't know, log mode is filming with a camera in a low contrast, low saturation image, which gives you more dynamic range and the possibility to then add more color grade and twist it more in the post-production. And I was thinking maybe this time it could actually fit to my content. So welcome to today's video where we will see if this is a yes for cycling content and actually compare the DJI Osmo to the Insta360 X5. Let's talk about the new Osmo 360. It is stupidly easy to mount because it has the same magnetic clip-on we are all used from the DJI Action 5. Since the camera itself is from a form factor super light and compact, it doesn't bounce too much like other 360 cameras. If you ever rode with a 360 camera on your bike, the mounting, the screwing with all the potholes and bad road quality, it can be an issue and you are always readjusting the camera more than you actually want to. And if there are cobbles and potholes, with the horizon feature of the 360, I found myself always very steady and then the bike is wobbling on the camera but not you or the image. Log footage on a 360 camera. Let me break down and show you why this really matters. I can color grade and make it actually fit to my cinematic edits and YouTube videos and just twist it way more to the filmic look I like. To actually show it to you, here are 3 videos, one with my Sony, with my DJI Action Cam and the 360 camera. And just watch how the Osmo finally blends in with the 360 footage. I can imagine myself using it in vlogs way more often, especially when I'm creating on my own. If you're new to this, you may ask yourself, why can't I just color grade the regular footage? The only answer I can tell you, good luck, try for yourself. And this is where I'm a bit disappointed from Insta360. When it comes to the details for creators and you're creating your own look, I don't think they make bad products. I just don't think they go all the way. But let's compare both cameras in a real world test without a color grade, just Rec 7 or 9, and then you can decide, or we both decide.
Okay, so this is a cycling sports YouTube channel and not we sit in a studio and just talk about the channel. So that's why we are out here to do a real world test. We're going to do a little 2-hour ride, but it's not about training today, it's about the camera. So I got one already mounted, the other one is here. I actually think I found a decent road for that. So, before I'm getting asked about the mount, which is going to happen anyways, this is 3D printed from someone from eBay for the Canyon, as there are not really mounts where you can mount a GoPro or a 360 camera on it. But this mount is actually pretty nice, as there are not unnecessary screws, and if you have more screws than necessary, the more the camera will actually lose its position, and then you need to readjust it while riding. And that's not why we're doing it. We want to have it because we just throw it on and don't worry about it anymore. So just look for something like that. Or maybe you have a bike where you can just use your regular mounts from DJI or Insta360, as both of them have valid options to mount their 360 cameras. It's just with the new gear groove cockpit on the Canyon, it's quite hard to find something because they just have one online, and this is not working with these cameras.
Okay, in the studio, let's actually compare the images. Sorry, I need to speak into that. Let's actually compare the images of both. Let's get to work, man. This is now, we are going to compare the X5 now with the Osmo on screen. I think looking at an image, it's always a bit subjective as well. Some like iPhone photos, some don't like iPhone photos. I really tried to make a very objective comparison here. In the end, this video is really not about selling you anything. It's about helping you out if you are actually thinking about getting a 360 camera. And I'm just trying to now give you both images in a comparable situation so you can decide for yourself. Let's go. What do we have here? As you can see on the left side, we have the Osmo 360 footage. Just made the right screen grab from the situation on this clip down here. And then on the right side, we have the Insta360 X5. And I try to have basically the same window on the right side here. So we have a comparable situation image. To make it comparable, I shot both in the same mode. So I shot them in 8K, 30 FPS. I did not activate lock feature in this clip because I thought, all right, the X5 doesn't have it. So now let's look at the details. Just by purely looking at the screenshot, there is one big difference. This is actually displaying the dynamic range of the Osmo. Like I said, both are flagship models, both are good to go, but just look at the sky. There is blue sky. The Osmo made it possible to have sky in picture, but also me as a person. Everything is well lit. The image just has more dynamic range. And then on the right side, you can see that the sky is basically clipping. So it's not visible blue sky. And if I go backwards, you can see that it's not because I scoped at a wrong position. It's the sky is just visible when there is no trees upon us. Let's go back on the Osmo. Now there is blue sky on the Insta. I put it on the left side to show you on the right side that the Osmo is having blue sky and dynamic range even under the trees. What does dynamic range actually mean to you? It just means that there is more information from shadows to highlights in your footage, and that means you actually have more information to then play around with. It's actually getting a bit too nerdy, I noticed, but I mean, if we do a comparison, let's do a comparison. So let's go back to a similar situation. So to end the comparison here in daytime, let's actually zoom in like me and tree maybe. Okay, so both images are on 246%. And now it's up to you guys. What do you see? Do we see a difference? I would say I see a difference in my face. I feel like my beard, there is more details. So when you look at the house on the left side, 549%, and you can just see that the stones from the house on the left side have way more detail than on the right side. The question is this really important for everyday use? You have to decide for yourself, what are you going to do with it? Both get the job done. If you do cycling content, but if we compare, let's compare the image quality. And I think to me, the left side just looks overall a bit better. Overall image, dynamic range and details. But we didn't just do daytime, we also did a stress test. Alright, it is after midnight and we are going to see how the image is going to look at night. There is really barely any light, so just a few street lamps every 20 meters. That's it.
So let's see how the cameras hold up in these low light conditions. Guys, for now, can you appreciate what I'm doing? Being out here at 1 p.m. testing cameras. If this is not worth a like and a subscribe, I really don't know what it is. What should I do more? But honestly, stay till the end and I'll let you know under what circumstances I'm going to do a giveaway of the 360 camera. After all the testing, I think is better. Looking at the night footage, I wasn't sure what I was thinking first. I wouldn't use this in a cinematic way, but if you look back for example, I had the X4 as well, and you didn't even need to try doing a night video with it because it was just nothing was really to see there. So we didn't even flinch after riding at night. We are immediately in the studio and I'll head to the shower right after this. But I'm always so curious to see how it turned out. And now we are looking at two night scenes. On the left side you can see the Osmo 360. On the right side you can see the X5. I mean, you just saw the clips. What was your first impression? I feel like it is quite the opposite to the daytime, that now at night the Osmo is bringing in sharpness. And here I'm actually welcoming it. Looking at the jersey, for example, it is the same moment. The light is coming from the same side. It was the brightest moment I could find. It is just way more crisp. And on the right side, it's just very washed out. And I like the sharpness here. I like the little bit of grain. You know, it is maybe a bit subjective again. I mean, in the end, this video is just here to help you out judging for yourself. You may wonder what camera is suiting you the best. Here, I would go with the left side, just because it's more crisp, but it is one of the hardest conditions for a camera like this because I'm moving, it is barely any light, it is completely night. It's like the hardest you can put these cameras through, so I'm quite happy how it turned out. And that's what I like about, you know, Bose bringing out a 360 camera now, that in the end competition makes us as a consumer or prosumer ending up with better cameras or better products, because they need to compete, they will compete, and then they will develop better products to outperform the other company, and we end up with better prices, because now actually it's the first time that there is actually competition to the Insta360. That means there will be pricing pressure, because I think the Osmo is, at least in Europe, is cheaper. Then now they are a bit under pressure, and I'm not saying that this or this is the right way to go. I'm just saying that I like the competition because it will help us as a consumer have better products in the end. Let's look at another comparison, another picture. Just looking at it, if I zoom in, I just feel like on the left side, it handles the low light situations a bit better. But the Osmo has a 1-inch 360 imaging, which definitely helps at low light to have sharper, brighter, and then better looking images. Night situations, when do they happen? I mean, it's maybe you have an ultra race which goes into the night, and then I think at least you got the memory, because I think it's not about cinematic perfect imaging then. I think at night it's always about just telling the story and catching the memories, and I think you can do with both. But I definitely vibe with the Osmo here. I hope this was helpful, and just the last thing is, I once again now with the comparison noticed that one thing I really do like about DJI is what they do now in the latest cameras, and this is internal storage. So this thing actually doesn't need an SD card. You can just go out and it has internal storage enough to just shoot that. And on the X5, and yeah, you always need an SD card, and it happened to me at cameras that I forgot my SD card from editing, and then I was out already and it was too late to get back. So I really like that feature, but of course you can just think of your SD card and then it's not anything that should make the difference, but it's a nice little handy feature to have. So I'm still looking at the images. Drop me a comment, what do you think about the comparison? Did I do well on it? What do you like more? What image? I hope it helped you to find yourself in that space, 360 cameras for bike content. I'm always unsure how much you want to go into detail about content creation, because I think if you don't do content, this can be a bit boring. But I see a lot of people now just having these little cameras to,
film and their memories. It's not that you need to put out YouTube videos, but sometimes you just want to have memories for yourself from races you did or just bike rides. So I use the camera now for more than 5 rides, and I'm not saying that a 360 camera is something that replaces my main camera or that the X5 is unusable, but for a solo rider that sometimes you just want to go out capturing without thinking, or even film races and you don't have the energy to have a action camera with you all the time and change framing, this is easily the most effortless way to film on a bike. You just put it on and then afterwards you just do your framing. I'm curious though, what are you guys filming your bike rides right now? Is it a GoPro, an action cam, 360, an Action 5, or just your phone? Drop your setup in the comments and let's chat about the best way to film on the bike. And I know you will ask anyway, so if this video gets 2,500 likes, like the last DJI video, I'm going to do a giveaway of this 360 camera, promised. So like the video, subscribe, send it to a friend that needs to upgrade their bike footage game, and then we do a giveaway. For me it's simple. It is going to be the first 360 camera I'm actually going to use. I will use it, I will put it on my road bike and just leave it there. And I think that alone says a lot about it. Take care and see you in the next one.